Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and it's finally back. It's been 500 long. Okay, it's been 2 years. But seriously though, part 5 was uploaded over 2 years ago. I think it's time to revisit this, and I'm not even gonna hide the fact that it's because it gets views and I need money. In fact, go watch the rest of them. Just kidding, they're from 2+ years ago. They're freaking terrible. Do not watch the rest of them. So anyway, this series is exactly what it sounds like. The weirdest cards in all of MTG. Weird art, weird mechanics, weird wording, weird history, weird legality, anything. So let's start off the Weird Fest with Balduvian Shaman. First of all, what is going on with that artwork? Secondly, I'm going to read the updated Oracle text for this card because I legitimately can't find a high-res enough version of this card to read what it actually says. I mean, yeah, I could probably make it out, but, I mean, let's be honest, I just can't be bothered. So the updated Oracle text says, tap this card, change the text of target white enchantment you control that doesn't have cumulative upkeep by replacing all instances of one color word with another. And that's so obscure they had to give an example as reminder text, in parentheses and italics. For example, you may change black creatures can't attack to blue creatures can't attack. That enchantment gains cumulative upkeep 1, more reminder text at the beginning of its controller's upkeep. That player puts an age counter on it, then sacrifices it unless they pay its upkeep cost for each age counter on it. So it costs 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and if you can't or don't want to pay for it, then it gets sacrificed. That mechanic sucked and it sounds terrible. I hope they never reprint it. So you just have to remember that a card doesn't work the way that it's stated or written? Am I the only one who feels like this would be difficult to actually pull off without like sticky notes or something? The probability of this actually working, like even finding a valid target for this and then being able to do something that's worth the cumulative upkeep, I mean, it's a useless, worthless, stupid card. The best thing about this card is it's a 1/1 for 1. So moving on, next up we've got Bearer of the Heavens, one of my personal favorite cards because it is just so flavorful and hilarious, and I guess there's probably lore behind it, and it's just funny. If you read the title, look at the artwork, then read the card, you're like, oh, I get it. And I love that. So I just included this because I think it's funny. Also, it is devastating. So for 8 mana, you can bring out this 10/10 giant creature. I mean, literally his subtype is giant. And when Bearer of the Heavens dies, destroy all permanents at the beginning of next end step. That does not say non-land permanents. That says all permanents. The only thing that can survive this is counters attached to a player because they're not permanents, and an emblem because it's not a permanent. So okay, he could be stripped of that ability, turned into a frog, he could be exiled instead of destroyed. I mean, it's not the end-all card. But sparing that, your choices are to leave a 10/10 in play or kill him, and ooh, there goes everything. Now, the most hilarious part is I heard that somebody made an obscure deck with this where they made all of their permanents indestructible. Oh, damn. That is just not nice. Now, I did misspeak before. I said this destroys everything. Obviously not like a creature or anything else with indestructible, so just leave an indestructible creature out there. So you can have some fun with this. I mean, even if you don't think it'll even give you an advantage and it might just derail the entire game, it's hilarious. So in other words, put it in a commander deck. So next up, Braid of Fire. Hey, remember when I said that cumulative upkeep was an obnoxious, stupid mechanic and it's just bad? This one stood out in my memory. I had to include it. Braid of Fire. Pretty killer artwork there, but it's a 2-cost enchantment, and the only thing that it does is cumulative upkeep, add 1 red mana to your mana pool. Now right about now, you might be thinking to yourself, but that's not a payment. How is it cumulative upkeep if you don't have to pay anything? It literally says you pay its upkeep cost. This is like a refund. It's like a credit. That's why this card has never made any sense. I mean, I said cumulative upkeep is crap, it's annoying, it's a garbage mechanic, and all the cards with it are trash. I said that in an earlier video. And then somebody said, well, not Braid of Fire, and I looked at this and I'm just like, wizards, what is wrong with you? This isn't cumulative upkeep. Use charge counters or something. Make it a different thing. You can't pay this. You literally cannot pay this. It gets paid to you. It doesn't even follow the rules of the mechanic. I mean, it's like a broken, incorrectly written card. I don't know. I'm just getting shook over this because one, it's overpowered as hell. It's like $19 and it's legal in Commander. And two, this isn't cumulative upkeep. It's just not. Okay, I'm too much of a perfectionist to let this slide. So why they designed this, why they slipped it into the cumulative upkeep mechanic, I have no idea. I hate everything about this. Also, it's really overpowered. Next up, camouflage. Okay, for this one, I'm going to read the way it was originally written, but then I'm going to read their attempt at making some semblance of an Oracle text for this complete dumpster fire of a card. So, it states, instant, you may rearrange your attacking creatures and place them face down, revealing which is which only after defense is chosen. Wow, is that really what it was called back then? If this results in impossible blocks, such as a non-flying creature blocking flying creatures, illegal blockers cannot block this turn. I don't blame them for writing something about 4 times longer than this for the Oracle text, because there are just like basic terminology and rule violations in this card. Like half this, that's not even how that works. So buckle up because we're going on a journey for this one. Okay, cast this spell only during your declare attacker's step. This turn, instead of declaring blockers, each defending player chooses any number of creatures they control and divides them into a number of piles equal to the number of attacking creatures for whom that player is the defending player. Creatures those players control that can block additional creatures may likewise be put into additional piles. Assign each pile to a different one of those attacking creatures at random. Each creature in a pile that can block the creature that pile is assigned to does so. Piles can be empty. You know what? I like the original better. What does this even say? What does this even do? Is this even the same card? Does this even do the same thing that the first card actually did, the real version of the card? I don't know if I even want to read through this again and try to explain it. I assume it does the same thing, but I mean, the original card says you may rearrange your attacking creatures and place them face down, revealing which is which only after defense is chosen. I'm not convinced the Oracle text does even vaguely the same thing, because it says, this turn, instead of declaring blockers, each defending player chooses any number of creatures they control, divides them into a number of piles, so it puts them into control, equal to the number of attacking creatures for whom that player is the defending player. I don't even know what that means. Creatures those players control that can block additional creatures may likewise be put into additional piles. The first version of the card said nothing about that. Assign each pile to a different one of those attacking creatures at random. Where the hell did random come from? So they legit just rewrote the card to do something different. I mean, you're going to have this text handy to even play this card. That's why this is just such a dumpster fire of a card. It's so confusing. That artwork looks like complete ass. Good job, Jesper. And I just find it deeply offensive that basically they made this card do something else. And then during a game, you got to like pull out your smartphone and have somebody read and try to make sense of this absolute just wall of text, this complete mess, and then try to resolve it. Well, guess what, guys? This absolute atrocity is legal in Commander, so just piss off all your friends with it. Well, it certainly doesn't get worse than this, but this one's pretty funny. Dead Ringers. So it's a 5-cost sorcery, and it says destroy 2 target non-black creatures unless each one is a color that the other isn't. They cannot be regenerated. This is a card where your first impression is just automatically to say, what? Like, what does this do? It's like you have to solve some kind of puzzle in your brain. If you read it backwards, it helps. So you can resolve the spell as long as either of the creatures... Wait, there's a lot of like double negatives in this. Now, I thought that the Oracle text would be updated to say a more modern version of this phrasing. It has not been. So don't worry, Wizards, I got your back. I'm going to do your job for you. Destroy 2 target non-black creatures as long as both creatures share all colors. Because the normal phrasing would be share a color or share at least one color, and this one would just be share all colors. So 2 creatures that share 1 color or 2 colors or 3 colors, whatever, they're the same color, but aren't black. Thanks for that, Wizards. By the way, this card is complete trash. A 5-cost sorcery that maybe destroys 2 creatures with a giant restriction on it. Just screw this card. So next up, we've got Final Fortune. This is a 2-cost red instant where 2 guys who wrap their heads in toilet paper are sword fighting. That's just fantastic. Alrighty then. So, take another turn after this one. you lose the game at the end of that turn. Fantastic. This is like the early prototype to Glorious End. Basically, you take an extra turn, and if you don't win during that turn, you lose. That's just kind of funny to me. It's just so crazy. It's so like an all-in strategy. But that's not enough to get it in this video. What is enough to get it in this video is Last Chance, a 2-cost red sorcery that says take another turn after this one, you lose the game at the end of that turn. And then the reminder text is, oh god, come on, this is just how the game works, for God's sake. You don't lose if you've already won. I think I saw that in a fortune cookie one time. But wait, there's more! Warrior's Oath. Literally the same card. It's a functional reprint. Why? Why did we even need an instant version of it and then a sorcery version of it, and then why do we need an identical sorcery version of it? Oh, just so it can be Japanese? Newsflash, this wasn't from Kamigawa. Well, in fact, this is Portal 3 Kingdoms. I think this actually predates the other one. Why do we need 3 of these? And plus, now somebody could build a deck that runs 3 of these. You know what the funniest part about this is? If you were to clone this spell with like Fork or Dual Cast or, whatever, it wouldn't really work because you would have resolved the first one and lost the game already. You can't really stack these. You better be really confident that your opponent is not going to be able to stop you from winning on your next bonus turn. I mean, that said, there are, circumstances where they have all their lands tapped or no cards in hand or both, and you're like, yeah, one more combat and I would win. They have no blockers. So, I mean, it is a useful card. I just found it just beyond odd that they printed this 3 times and almost arguably 4 times. I mean, Glorious End is actually quite a bit different. It says end the turn, and then at the beginning of your next end step, you lose the game. So it's kind of like this, except it costs more and you don't get a bonus turn. Functional reprint it is not. So that's it for this video. If you have any suggestions, well, then I have a suggestion. Go watch the others first, because it's probably in those. But otherwise, bring the weird in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more crazy crap that I upload daily. And I'll see you guys next video.